First of all, we'd like to thank you so much for your time, Professor Jang.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, we have to welcome you to Korea. What brings you here?
I'm currently working as a director of Food Service Industry Research Institute. So this is my regular visit to this institute because I need to direct this institute while I had a summer vacation as a professor.
Working
yes, at Purdue University in the States. So this is my vacation time, but I come here to work for the institute.
Well, you've lived abroad for many years. You're very familiar with both cultures, it seems. What would you say is the draw to Korean food from a foreigner's point of view?
Well, as all knows, there are huge increase in interest of Korean food these days. Probably mainly because of Hangyu, which is we call Korean wave. And some of the Asian country people come to Korea because of food, and we call it food tourism. But in Western countries, there's huge interest in new food. Korean food is one of those preferences, including other Asian foods like Indian food and Thai foods, Vietnamese food too. And the reason that Korean food drew attention these years is Korean food has a little bit different in its flavor, like a more spicy, but it's very tasty, and also that fit some taste of some foreign the Westerners. For example, like bulgogi is really good matched with a foreigner's taste.
Like sweet and kind of salty.
And also Westerners prefer like eating beef, but those food materials also are very friendly and familiar with those foreign Westerners. So that is the unique part of Korean food, which is different from other Asian foods, by combining beef and vegetable together.
So you actually brought up exactly what I was going to mention. Korean food has this harmony of so many different flavors that don't necessarily pop up in perhaps Western cuisines, right? So non-Koreans, they seem to be very receptive towards that.
Yes. The reason is because some of the seasoning that Koreans are using are very unique and also very balanced and nutritionally very rich, and so it is very healthy. And that part is very appeal to those who are thinking of healthy diets. And so recently, Korean foods are also the aired at the Food Channel very much, and also recipe of the many Korean foods are reached by the people through YouTube.
Wow.
Yes.
So you mentioned bulgogi. Would you say that that's one of the favorites of Korean food from a Westerner's point of view?
Bulgogi is one of that, and as you know, kalbi, which many people call it Korean barbecue, is another options, the preferred options. And another one is, I think, is bibimbap, especially tol-sok bibimbap, which is rice with different vegetables
with a hot stove,
which is very appealing to foreigners. They mix all this rice with different vegetables, and also together with eggs on the top of that, appealing to them. This is very nutritionally balanced.
It looks healthy, right?
It looks healthy too, yes, and also very tasty too. Yes.
Now, in this time of globalization, if we want to put Korean food even more out there on the global stage, what kinds of things would you say need to be done in terms of making it more internationally friendly?
I think that's a very good question for globalization in Korean food projects. And as you know, the Korean government actually launched this global food campaign for several years ago. But I think the important part is that we have to understand foreign consumers, country by country, and their the consumer taste. I'm thinking when I visit China, I try to taste Chinese food, all different part of Chinese foods. The tastes are all different, and also the taste of Chinese food are different from what I ate here in Korea. So Chinese food in Korea is a lot more localized. And they try to adjust the taste to fit Koreans' taste.
Right. I even remember Chinese food in America is different.
It's
Even
different.
Korea and from China as
A lot
well.
of adjustment is necessary. So if you're thinking of exporting our food to a foreign country, it is possible that it's export exactly as is in other country, but that is just one form of Korean food. In order to sell your food in a mass amount, I'm thinking we have to make adjustments, our taste, to satisfy those local consumers by considering their local taste.
Well, aside from the government, it's not just up to the government, of course, to globalize Korean food. How can the public contribute, or how can private companies do their part?
Well, thinking of the globalization of Korean food project at government level and at the private level, the important part is if you're checking actual market in, for example, in the United States, we probably can estimate the success of this project, the increase of Korean restaurant in different part of the United States or different part of Europe or Asian countries. When I did a project to check those number of business unit in the United States since last 5 years, we didn't notice that much increases after even with this campaign. So what I checked with the government side in Korea when I arrived here was the project and the contents of the project they have done so far. I understood that what they did so far was they establishing an infrastructure for this globalization Korean food. For example, like standardized of Korean foods, because many restaurants use the names in different ways, and also when they develop a service, and all different restaurants have a different level of service. So actually what the government actually tried to do is establishing all those standards and spread this information to the business units. But what I noticed, the gap between the government side and private side was communications. And I think government did somewhat good job. And they did a lot of different projects. They have it with their hands, but it's not really spread it well to the private units. So communications and also spreading this information through different channels, like in YouTube or Facebook and other internet sources, so that those business units can easily use those information for their businesses. And that's one part I noticed here in Korea. And another thing that the private side have to do is, when I examine this industry in Korea, restaurant industry, a huge competition. Competition levels way more than any other countries. We roughly say we have 10 more times of number of restaurants per areas or per total populations than U.S. Meaning that we have 10 times more competition here in Korea. I'm thinking that how can we manage this business successfully? It is a very difficult part. Instead of everybody's and open a new business here in Korea, why not we are going outside to find an opportunity internationally? I'm thinking we have to connect this globalization of Korean food with current business owners in Korea, so that they can open a business outside Korea and seeking more opportunity outside. That is also very helpful for to make this campaign successful too. Government side, I think their work is more in market-oriented campaign. Like they have to advertise more about our culture and our food culture and the good part of Korean food directly to the market. So I'm thinking this is a time to step into the market and also advertise directly to our potential consumer in different countries.
Whether it's that campaign or a lot of people know, the Hallyu wave as well.
Yep.
The number of foreign visitors have been growing.
Yes.
In fact, just the first half of this year, we're seeing over 5 million foreign tourists.
Yes.
What would you say is the biggest contributing factor to this? I did mention a couple right there.
Yes,
but
it's definitely Hallyu, which is a Korean wave, is a key of the success factor last several years. I checked the number of visitors, foreign visitors to Korea the last 10 years. 2001, it was roughly about 5 million. We're expecting about 11 million this year. So since last 10, 11 years, those Hallyu Korean waves become a very success factor. If you're thinking of the components, the composition of this arrival to Korea, it is surprising to know those recent increases are mostly coming from Asia-Pacific countries, where they have huge Hallyu waves hitting their market. So this Hallyu is not simply changing their mind about Korea, but also this is a good motivating factor for them to visit Korea.
What would you say are some popular tourist attractions then with some of the foreign tourists we're seeing in Korea?
In Korea? Definitely Seoul is the in general the largest attraction city, and then Busan and Gyeongju and I think the Jeju Island is the well-known attractions. But thinking of those 4 different attractions or cities, Seoul has many things. It has palace, it has shopping districts, it has also nearby it has DMZ, which is very unique scenes for foreigners. But Busan has its own uniqueness too. Gyeongju has all these historic sites very much, and Jeju has nature. So all these combinations are very good attractions for foreigners. But when we are advertising this country, Korea, to the foreign visitors, I'm thinking that we have to take a certain step, like first campaign for new visitors. And the second is we need to educate those visitors so that they can move into a more local and the small cities and other deeper into Korea. So that's going to be helpful for the tourism campaign for foreign countries.
So on the other hand, we're talking about all the highlights, the good stuff, the good points of Korea.
Yes.
But what about some of the areas of difficulty or inconveniences that foreigners experience? How can we fix them? In fact, what are some of them?
Okay. First, during this visit, I had a chance to organize an international conference in Ulsan, Korea, so that I had invited more than 100 foreign visitors to Korea. What I heard from them is first, transportation is very, very effective, but how to make a booking for KTX, which is bullet train, is very, very difficult. They try to click and try to book this train, but it's almost impossible because everything is in Korean. And even for bus services, it's very convenient, but they have to ask too many questions, too many the pupils. I'm thinking those kind help to this visitor is very important part. And second, once again, signposts in English or other foreign language is very, very important for them. All of them say very efficient city and very nice systems, but which I'm saying is all those hardware is very good, but the software is still room to improve.
Well, aside from all of that, if you could sum up perhaps why foreigners love Korea in just one sentence or one short phrase there, what would it be?
Dynamic trend of Korea. Korea changes very quick. And those who fought at Korean War, they visit here and they're surprised. It changes our world and our country and in a right way and a very we experience economic success. They view our society as very efficient and very nice, and they want to follow our footsteps too. I'm thinking they want to learn and Hanyu too, which is the new culture that we are currently developing. So our hardship is one thing I think we are proud of.
Mm-hmm. That sets Korea apart.
Yes. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, we want to thank you so much for your time and for your insight on all these different elements to Korea's tourism sector. And we do hope that we'll be able to globalize Korea through this organization as well.
Thank you very much.